Do you have an application that you want to collect payments on, and you're like, well, what provider should I use? One of the most popular payment processors in the world right now is Stripe. I have been using Stripe for a while now, and just recently, as I got into building applications through these different platforms like Replit, like Lovable, I personally use Lovable. And let's say you're building a software as a service application, right? A SaaS application, and you want to collect payments, but you're not too sure how to, and you're not like very familiar with documentation, with API docs, like how to integrate, and you're using AI to build your app, and you're like not too sure. So basically, what happened was I was on X the other day, and someone said they asked like, "Oh, who uses Stripe?" And I'm like, "Oh," I said, "I use Stripe." And I said, I have a series of prompts that I used where Gemini, in this case, Gemini in particular, helped me to fix my application. And they said, "Oh, can I have those prompts?" I said, "You know what? If I just give you the prompts, it's not going to really mean much because every Stripe integration is going to be different based on the use case. And that's the beauty of how flexible Stripe is and these integrations are, is based on what you're doing, it's going to be different. So you might be selling a product, a physical product, where you collect payment one time and you send it out. You might be doing subscriptions. You might have tiers. It just depends, right? So that's why I said, you know what? Let me create a video about this because my Stripe integration is not going to be the same as your Stripe integration. However, I can show you and I can walk you through my prompting style that I use to help me fix Stripe. I had so many issues that I wasn't even aware of until my QA engineer, they were testing and they looked at their Stripe in the test mode and they said, "Oh, like I'm seeing this and that." I'm like, "Oh, okay, interesting." And then I had to go back and really understand how Stripe works, and Gemini helped me tremendously. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Welcome to the episode of Software Expressions Custom and Overviews, hosted by your shitty Tech coach Ralph, where we are engineered to win. Like I said, we're going to be diving into Stripe. If you have used Stripe, if you're a developer, maybe you're not a developer, and you're interested in Stripe, let me know your experience. Let me know if you had any hardships. Drop me a comment on this video. Let me know. I would love to hear your Stripe war stories and how you got around it as well, because it is always important that we just don't tell the horror, but we also share how we overcame it. So here's what we're going to do. For those who are not familiar with Stripe whatsoever, I'm going to have Gemini explain to us what Stripe is in a way that we can easily understand. As like, I've been in tech for a very long time, but I know that there's so many people who are getting into this area, getting into this field, and it is so much to navigate to. I don't expect you to just understand and know what Stripe is and how it works. So we're gonna have Gemini give us a general, easy to understand overview of what Stripe is. And then I'm gonna take you into my prompts that I used, and then I'll also show you some of the code in where I would go to methodically make the specific changes that Gemini was guiding me through. And I have a series of prompts. What I'll do, I am going to take those prompts, put them in a document, and I'm going to upload them to techcoachralph.dev. I will make it available to anybody. It's going to be available as long as you sign up for the free tier. It'll be available to you, where you can get my prompts and see how I work through them, how I would formulate my prompts, copy and paste my code, put it into Gemini, and then get a clear explanation. And Gemini even walks me through how to fix that code. So that's going to be available at techwithdrop.dev. And you can go there, download it for free, and we can go from there, right? So with that being said, I want to first outline my story, right? And how I came across all of these Stripe issues. And then I'm going to take you into the prompts, and you're going to see how I methodically walked through fixing those fixing those issues. So basically, I built an app, right? And I said in the app, I want to collect payments with Stripe. It asked me for my Stripe key, and I put the test key in there, and then I'd go and place an order. Boom, boom, boom. Everything looks great on the front end of the application. And I can see that the orders are being placed. Like I can see that Stripe is collecting the payment. Now, part of this application is there's different tiers. You can upgrade from one tier to another. And once we started testing that and we would go into Stripe and my Q engineer says, "Hey, I see in my," and this is, thank God we're using the test Stripe environment. It says, "I see that that I got billed for this particular tier. And then when I upgraded, I also got billed for this tier, and it didn't like prorate me. It didn't cancel it. I just have multiple subscriptions. So that means next month I would get charged for, let's say we have a 499 tier, and then I'd also get charged for the 999 tier. And I'm like, that's not right. So my first bet was, all right, let me prompt this in Lovable to try to fix it. And going back and forth, wasted so many credits, it was not able to fix it. And it's understandable why, because it is like, for me, when you make these prompts that trying to fix things, one of the times I said, all right, this is what's happening with the billing. It totally rewrote my sign up process, my pricing page. And I'm like, all right, let's cut that out. Let's revert. Let's go back. And a few times it would totally mess things up, and it was not working the right way. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take matters into my own hand. I am going to take this into, I'm going to fix it myself. However, Gemini is going to hold my hand and walk me through the whole entire process. And when I say Gemini, I personally use Gemini, but you can use pretty much any high quality large language model that you want, whether you're using Claude, whether you're using OpenAI, whatever it is that you want to use, you can use that. The key is, which I'm going to show you in my prompting strategy, what I did. All right. So what I'm going to do now, and trust me, there are way more issues than that, but that's just a high level, one of the first issues that we came across, right? What I'm going to do, I'm going to take us over into Gemini, and we're going to get a quick rundown of what Stripe is in a way that we can easily understand it. And then we're going to transition over to some of the prompts that I used, and I'll show it to you, and I'll show you what my request was, what Gemini said. I'm not It would take forever for me to take you through every single prompt. But if I take you to about two or three of them, you're gonna get a good idea of how it actually works, and how Gemini respond, like what I ask Gemini, how it responds to me, and then how I go into the code and point out exactly what I need to do. All right. So and along the way, I'll give you some additional insight and some additional key pointers, and we will go from there. All right. So let me transition over to Google Gemini. And I'm going to show you how one of my prompts would look. This is not a very technical prompt. I'm going to write this prompt from the point of view of a someone who is creating their own app. They might be using AI to create it. They don't have that much development experience. They don't really know much about APIs. So most of the code is going to be written for them in a platform like Lovable. Maybe they're using Copilot. Probably not even Copilot. Maybe a platform like Lovable, like Make, like Replit, where it's going to you share your idea, and it builds it for you, and then you can start mostly prompting. I want to fix this. I want to fix that. All those little details, right? And then, but here's why I always highly recommend that. It is important for you to learn how to code. They make it seem like, and you don't need to be like I always say, you don't need to be an expert in how to code, but you still want to understand what's going on. And then once you do so, then you can bring it into the IDE, whether you're using VS Code, whether you're using WebStorm, whatever IDE that is that you're using. But now you actually understand what it's telling you, and you can just methodically go and fix the issues that you're either going to spend a lot of money trying to get Lovable or Replit or Make to fix, and they will not fix it properly. And now you do not want to pay people's money. As soon as you start jeopardizing people's money, they lose faith and trust in you. Everything else is forgivable, but once you mishandle their money, it's over, right? So if I went and I was double billing my users, no chance, right? And that's also why quality assurance is essential. Having your app tested is essential. All right, so let's get started with our prompt. I'm gonna say, I am a I am a non-technical person with some experience in coding, but not much. I am building a SaaS application using let's say Lovable because that's what I use. Lovable, and I need to integrate accepting payments. I was suggested to use Stripe, but I'm not too familiar with how Stripe works. I will say, let's say I am building, let's say my coaching portal. I'll use my coaching portal, right? I'm building a coaching portal that will help my coaching members stay accountable, communicate often with me, set goals, etc. I want to collect payments from the portal. Can you break down what Stripe is in a way that I could easily understand and explain it to someone if they ask? All right, so that's gonna be my prompt. I'm sharing with Gemini who am I, my background, what I do, and then I'm asking it, can you explain to me how Stripe works in a way and explain it to me in a way that I can easily understand? I could just go and do a Google search for Stripe, but then it might end up giving me technical jargon, and I don't want that. I wanted to explain it to me in a way that I would understand as a non-technical person with some coding experience, but also as a coach who coaches people, but I'm also building my coaching portal. So let's see what Gemini is able to give us. So now Gemini is going to do its thing. It's going to be thinking. All right, here we go. So once we're done with that, then I'm going to take you to my prompting strategy to fix these issues. And of course, the more technical that you are, the better and easier it is going to be for you to implement these changes. Is it possible being not very technical? It's possible. It's going to be a lot harder. All right. So here we go. It says, of course, Stripe is an online payment processing platform that lets you accept money from your customers directly on your website or your app. Think of Stripe as the digital equivalent of a credit card terminal you see in a physical store. When a customer wants to buy something, they swipe their card. The terminal securely sends the card information to the bank, checks if there's enough money, and if approved, moves the funds into the store's bank account. Stripe does all of that for your online coaching portal, but with code. Exactly. How Stripe works for your coaching portal. Here's a so we're going to share a step-by-step breakdown of how Stripe would work for my coaching portal, right? Members decide to pay. Your member goes to the portal payments page to sign up for a coaching plan. They enter their credit card details, the name, credit card information, the CVV, the CVC, into a payment form. Stripe secures the data. This payment form is powered by Stripe. As soon as your member enters the information, Stripe immediately encrypts it. This means the sensitive card data never touches your application server, which makes your portal very secure and reduces your liability. So everything goes through Stripe. You get to a Stripe page. You don't have to worry about payment information, about security certificates, all that. That is all handled by Stripe. So if anything happens, it's on Stripe's end. Your platform is secure, right? So now explaining it to us as someone who is not very technical, the magic happens. Stripe takes this encrypted information and sends it through the complex payment network like Visa or MasterCard to the customer's bank. The bank approval. The bank checks if the card is valid and has sufficient funds. It then sends an approved or declined message back to Stripe. This whole process usually takes just a couple of seconds. Then we have payment confirmation. Stripe lets your portal know that the payment was successful. Your portal can then automatically grant the member access to their coaching dashboard. The member sees a payment successful message. And then we go to you get paid the money minus Stripe's processing fees. They charge something because like you have to pay them for their service. It's a lot of complex service, a lot of security and stuff like that is deposited into your Stripe account. Stripe then bundles these payments and transfers them into your business bank account on a regular schedule, whether it's daily, weekly, etc. Right? Now, key features that you will love. And the reason I'm going through this is to show you the different ways that I use Stripe, or not Stripe, but how I use Gemini. I share with Gemini, who am I And this is business, all right? I share with Gemini, who am I? And that way it can explain it to me in a way that I can understand, and then I can easily break it down. So now Stripe isn't just a simple payment gateway. It's a whole platform designed for online businesses. For your coaching portal, these features are particularly useful. Recurring payments and subscriptions. And that alone right there, if you do not set it up properly, you're gonna have a whole bunch of issues. And and a quick example, right? When I first set it up, I didn't have any products created at Stripe. I just said, all right, it would just go and make a charge. And that's why I had a bunch of issues with billing users. All right. Because this is a perfect for a coaching business. You can easily set up monthly or annual subscription plans. Stripe will automatically charge your member on a recurring basis without you having to do anything. It can also handle failed payments by automatically retrying the card. High security PCI compliance. Handling credit card data requires meeting strict security standards called PCI compliance. It's complicated and expensive to do on your own. I remember I was working at a company and we had like every single year we had to certify that we were PCI compliant. It was the whole company had to go through something. So the fact that Stripe takes care of all of that, that is a major win for you and your company, right? It says simple integration. While it involves code, Stripe is known for its excellent documentation and developer-friendly tools. Keyword developer friendly, because if you don't really understand that technical talk, it's going to be really complicated. But however, that is why we have Gemini to help us. All right. It says, since you're using a platform like Lovable, there might even be pre-built integrations or plugins that make connecting to Stripe even easier. They do everything for you, right? Which is a good thing, and also it can lead to some complications and some issues, right? It says this is great for tracking how your business. All right, so dashboard reporting. Stripe gives you user-friendly dashboards where you can see all your payments, customers, subscription metrics, and revenue growth in real time. This is great for tracking how your business is doing. It does a really good job at that. And then flexibility. It accepts payments from all major credit cards and digital wallets like Apple Pay and Google Pay from customers all over the world. In short, Stripe is the secure and reliable middleman that manages the entire payment process, letting you focus on what you do best, coaching your members or whatever it is that you do. It lets you focus on that instead of worrying about how you're going to get paid. All right. So that is a breakdown of what Stripe actually is and why it is so used by so many people and why it's so helpful, and the ease of integrating into it, especially with using one of these quote unquote vibe coding platforms. So now let's jump into my prompt so that you can see how I maneuvered my way to fix the issues that Lovable was not able to fix. Because, like I said, it was a mess. It was just changing things left and right. I was very unhappy with the results that I was getting. So I said, you know what? We are going to take matters into our own hands. So this is my first prompt, right? And I'm going to expand my prompt. It says, I have an application using Stripe API. And this is probably one of my first prompts with this, right? It says, I have an application using Stripe API. When upgrading an account, it's making a bill with the prorated amount, but it's being marked it, but it's being marked as payment pending and not charging. So this was not one of my first issues, but this was an issue that was happening, right? It says, and it's not charging right away, and the user eventually has to go through the Stripe portal to upgrade their account. So very big problem. What's happening is on the app, I say upgrade, it says, oh, upgrade successful. And then when I go to the Stripe customer portal, it says that, oh, you have a pending payment, like it didn't go through. So now I have to rely on the user, although their account is upgraded on my platform. It hasn't been upgraded on Stripe, so I have to rely on them actually going there, and it's a whole mess, right? So it says the way I want it to work. So I outlined how I want it to work. If the customer is upgrading, calculate the proration amount and have Stripe charge it right away. If for some reason the customer payment can't be processed, take them to the Stripe page to finish payment. Part of the issue is when it takes you to Stripe, it creates a separate product billing instead of actually upgrading. Part of the issue. And then I say, and the most important part of this all, right? It says, here is the code where all the logic is happening. So I copy the code from Lovable that it created and say, this is where all the logic is going down and how can you help me fix it? So I copied all the code. I don't even care what the code is right now. I just copied the whole entire code into into the Gemini prompt, and it's gonna, so let's go down to the bottom, go down to the bottom. It's a lot of code, but it takes it though, right? All right, so here it says, of course, the issue you're facing is a classic one. When handling Stripe subscription upgrades, your current code tells Stripe, try to upgrade, and if the payment fails, just create an invoice and let me deal with it later. We need to change. We need to change that to try to upgrade and charge immediately. If the payment fails, stop and give it a way for the customer to fix it. And it tells me what the issue is. It says the core problem lies with the payment behavior pending if incomplete parameter and the complex manual payment logic that follows. We can simplify this and make it more robust. The solution is to, so now it starts telling me what do I need to change. And I am going through this piece by piece to change this in my code. So I'm looking for payment behavior and say change it to whatever it says currently set for payment behavior. I'm setting that I'm changing it to error if incomplete, right? Catch a specific error from Stripe when the payment fails. Extract hosted invoice from the error object. Send this back to the front end. So all these details that it's telling me to do, and then the key part is it gives me the corrected code, right? It says here's updated code. The key changes are within if is real upgrade block. I've removed the manual payment confirmation logic and replaced it with a much cleaner try catch that handles the payment failures correctly. So this is the code that it gives me. So it says if real upgrade, right in here is real upgrade. It's basically telling me what I need to do. So I went in and I changed all of this over here, right? And I'm making it work the way that the way it described it to me, because it was working, but it was not working correctly. So I need to follow the guide of Gemini. And that's why by me prompting it, I can extract what I need. So I don't just copy and paste, because Gemini, it'll say, all right, just this, everything's gonna be over here is gonna be all the previous code. Here are the changes that you need to make. And then so it'll compress the code, all right, and then it'll give you these emojis that let you know these are the areas that you need to change. It's like, so for it'll have step 1, step 2, step 3, all of those different things, key change. So another change over here that needed to be done. So then you can focus on where the green check marks are, and you really read what's going on and try to understand what's causing the issue and how to fix it and what impact is that particular change is going to make, right? So I'm just going through the code. Gemini it does a lovely job of explaining what the changes mean. So the payment behavior parameter, your old code payment behavior if pending if incomplete. Tell Stripe if the initial payment failed, that's okay. Just create the subscription and invoice anyways. Mark the invoice as open and subscription past due. That's why you're seeing payment pending, which we don't want that. We just wanted to collect the money right away. Says the new code payment behavior if error if incomplete. This tells Stripe the immediate charge for the upgrade is mandatory. If it fails for any reasons, insufficient funds, expired cards, 3D secure authentication, then the entire subscription update API call should fail and return an error. All right, that makes it upgrade all or nothing. There's no lukewarm upgrades. Either you're going to pay me my money or you are not going to be able to upgrade. All right, simple as that. Simple as that. It handles some error handling as well, try catches. I'm not gonna read every little thing what the front end's supposed to do. So then I said that, let me see. So this was a different issue that I reported. So let's skip down past that one. So in another prompt of mine, I had let me expand it. When upgrading from a monthly plan to a yearly plan, it is thinking that I'm downgrading my account as opposed to upgrading the account in the pricing preview modal. The pricing preview is here. So I gave the code of where the pricing preview is, right? We're going to scroll down. But the key thing is copy your code that's handling it into your large language model. And then it should give you like the actual code on how to fix it, right? So it says, of course, the issue is that you're hard coding the current billing period as monthly in your tier change dialog component API call. So the backend function always thinks the user is coming from a monthly plan. To fix this, you need to track the user's actual billing period and pass it dynamically to the pricing preview function. So it's telling me like all the little changes that I need to make so that it can properly interact with Stripe. It says when a user on the yearly plan switches to a different yearly plan, or on a monthly plan switches to a yearly plan, this incorrectly leads your backend calculate pricing preview function to make the wrong determination about whether it's an upgrade or a downgrade. So then it gives me the solution. I'm not going to read through the whole thing. And it tells me what do I need to change in the code, right? So we went back and forth a little bit. I made all the changes. Let me see. And then I said, I gave it the code because it didn't have the use subscription code. So I gave it the exact code for use subscription so that it can make sure that I was giving me, because sometimes it'll try to guess what the code might look like. And I'm like, just take the whole code and then it'll give me the exact version of the exact version of how I should change and update my code instead of it just guessing how that should work. All right. So if we go here and it says, so it gives the different steps, how to update the front end to look properly. I'm not going to go through everything. Update the state initialization, handle new data from the API call. And then the final updated code for the Stripe for the subscription provider. And that's just how so I'm copying code, it's giving me back code telling me fix this here, fix this there. So then I would looking for making these changes over here. All right. Let's see. So now it's telling me to update the backend code. So and I basically went back and forth with that particular strategy, right? I said, all right, this is the issue that I'm having. This is the code for where that issue is coming from. How can I fix it? Tells me how to fix it. If it says, oh, in this other file that it doesn't have yet, then you want to do this. Then I'll just go and find that entire file and I'll copy it into my prompt. Say, this is the file. What do I need to fix it? And then it says, okay, do this, that, and the other inside of the file so that you can so it can work, right? And then I try it out. If I have more issues, it's just a cycle until everything is working properly and perfectly. Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna do this, right? I am going to take you into my IDE so I can just show you some of the changes that were being made and how we were able to some of the changes that were being made and how we're able to get it the way that we need it to be for it to work properly. Okay. So let's go over here. And if you look here, so this function is called, it's a super-based function called create checkout, which is what is used to process the payments. And if you take a look at over here where it's starting to set up the payment tiers, the Stripe integration where it's getting the key for Stripe and making sure what header it's on. So it's finding the customer ID, checking for active subscriptions, and about like the billing and stuff like that. So that's basically what is guiding me towards fixing. There are some other files as well, but it's just like taking you through each one of those files and do this here, do that there, and testing it out. So I'm running it locally before I even push it up to the cloud, so I can make sure that everything is working locally and that my payments end up getting fixed and billing users the right way. And that took some time to do. But like I said earlier, you don't play with people's money. If you do, that's when things start to go south. So that is my particular strategy of using, in my case, Gemini to fix a lot of these issues. And I've been doing that for things more than just collecting payment and for Stripe, but for a multitude of different things. So that's basically how it works, right? So I'm gonna go back to full screen. Hopefully that adds some insight. Like I said, I'm going to make the prompts that I have relating to Stripe available at techcoachrup.dev so that you can see them, try them out, see if they're able to help you. Like I said, though, there are no two Stripe integrations that are exactly the same. I might be having subscriptions and tiers and plan levels and stuff like that. Someone might just have a one set price. So it just depends on what it is that you're using it for. But at the end of the day, these large language models can help you grow and extend your business. All right. But that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Truly appreciate it. Thank you for allowing me to add a little bit of value into your lives. Do me a big favor. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you have integrated with Stripe, if you're looking to integrate with Stripe, but you're having difficulties, and if you would like me to maybe do a live session of integrating Stripe, or you'd want me to, create another video, a follow-up video on Stripe, whatever the case may be, let me know. I am here to help you. I am here to serve you. I'm here to add more and more value into your life. But that is it for today. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. It's hump day. Let's finish the week off strong. Tickle Trough, we are out.
You said it was a vibe, but it's 6 feet deep. Now I'm digging through the rubble of the plans I keep. You flipped the switch, you flipped the script, left me stranded on a sinking ship.
Asked for one thing, just one, but you spun the whip, now it's all undone. Chasing tails, chasing ghosts, there's myself in the cold I host.
You said it was a vibe I could ride,
but now it's a tide. You kill my you won't keep. I'm trapped in this loop, can't escape. Reality warps, the edges reshape. Rabbit holes got me spinning down, burning tokens till I hit the ground.
I asked for one thing, now it's all gone wrong. Kill my vibe like a flatline song. Gotta restore it all, rebuild the flow, but you left me here with nowhere to go. Patch it up, stitch the seams, lost in lines, rewriting dream. What was broken, I'll make it whole. You can't delete my soul.
Every move you made was a match to a fuse. Every word you said felt like bad tattoos. Permanent marks I can't erase. Now I'm stuck in this cage.
You killed my
you bent the truth. You broke the rhythm, now I've lost my groove. I'll patch it up, I'll make it new, but I won't trust that vibe from you.